what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Welcome to the Entrepreneur Exchange on the Mesh Podcast Network, a monthly conversation about startups and small business with ideas, tools, and advice to operate your business more effectively. On today's show, you've got great online content. How do you make money from it? Our guest is Teddy Burriss with Teddy Burriss Consulting to talk about ways to monetize your online content. Plus, we'll be sharing some interesting small businesses that you should be checking out on our Small Business of the Month feature at the end of the podcast. My name is Jeff Newville. I'm your co-host. I'm the director of the Small Business Center at Catawba Valley Community College in Hickory, North Carolina. I'm joined by my co-host, Gary Muller, who is Executive Dean of Economic Development and Corporate Education at Catawba Valley Community College. Gary, I stumble a bit when I get that out because it's always changing, but how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and you did a perfect job with the title.
Okay. Well,
and it does change from week to week. So
we'll see what it is next month. But,
that's right.
We're sitting here. It's we're in late March. We're in the midst of March Madness. You know, my team, the University of North Carolina Tar Heels, is still playing,
and we're pulling for them.
Hopefully, I'm not jinxing them. How's your spring going? Everything going okay?
It's going well. I enjoy springtime, as we're getting a little bit of that spring weather this last week, and still happy with my Wake Forest basketball team. They won 25 games, which was 4 times as many as they made last year. So we're okay, even though we faded a little bit. And I'm pulling for Carolina and Duke. Although I know in this area, if you're a Carolina fan, you're not necessarily always pulling for Duke or vice versa. But Wake Forest is Switzerland. So we like everybody in March.
It's hard to dislike Wake Forest, but sorry they perhaps peaked a little bit too early. But
all was good though.
They had a good season. So anyway,
I was at least able to watch them and listen to them with some meaning in the end of March, as opposed to ending it in the beginning of December.
Well, I'm glad you see the silver lining there. So
that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
It's a good story. I'm pleased that we've got a guest who's returning to us today. Our guest today is Teddy Burriss. Teddy, welcome to the Entrepreneur Exchange. How you doing?
Hey, Teddy.
Yeah, I'm great. Gary, thank you very much for both of you for collectively deciding to allow me to come back.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you.
You're a very entertaining speaker.
Yes, you're entertaining and fun, and we enjoy having you. Teddy operates Burriss Consulting Incorporated. He specializes in corporate training with LinkedIn and social media, business strategy, coaching. He is a published author on books on LinkedIn and social media. He develops and presents workshops and webinars throughout the country. He's a keynote speaker for several events. I also heard that you can run a 4-minute mile and bench press over 250 pounds. Is that still accurate, Teddy?
Yeah, 100% true in my mind.
Okay. And if you go out there and Google Teddy Burriss, you'll probably find him out there as LinkedIn guru, consultant. What else do we call you?
Yeah, just a lot of people just call me the LinkedIn guy.
The LinkedIn guy?
Yeah. So started doing it, Jeff, in 2007 and built the business model in 2009 and went 100% on my own business in December 15th, 2010, all focused to teaching LinkedIn as a business tool.
So you probably have like more than 100 LinkedIn connections at this point in time.
I hit 103 this morning. Yeah.
You're always working it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the LinkedIn connections; it's also followers, and because however people find you is important for them, for us to be able to build our business, build our brand.
Well, I've had the good fortune to work with you for several years, and you've worked with our Small Business Center and our clients to assist them with building their brands and developing their social media and their online presence. And I think when we spoke last, you were doing a program for our Small Business Center, and you talked a bit about the fact that you've been able to do some monetizing of your online content. And and I'm an older person, but I've got kids that are not, and I get the sense that these days that people want to become Instagram famous. They think that they can make a career by becoming an influencer, and they can quit their day job, or maybe they'll never even need to get a day job. So, where do I sign up to become an influencer? How do I go about doing that, Teddy? How am I going to go about and create this content that people are going to pay me for?
So Jeff, you're heading in the wrong direction, buddy. You should be on TikTok, not Instagram.
Okay.
Well, I think makes a lot of sense.
Do I need to wear a Speedo? Is that what will make me famous?
He's wearing one right now.
Now, the fact that Gary chimed in with his perspective now freaks me out. No, there's lots of ways to use social media to grow. Let me say it in other ways. Lots of ways to use social media to create and grow a business. And you don't need to be an Instagrammer. You don't need to be a TikToker. Maybe you don't need to be a YouTuber, but you just got to understand what it is you want and then put all your efforts into making it happen. And if it is to be a superstar on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, then there's actions and steps and processes and tactics you got to follow to get there. Very few of us are ever going to be that one guy, whatever his name is. It was a Gatorade guy, I think, that rode a skateboard down a street, drinking a Gatorade. I think it was a Gatorade, going to work, and he became famous, and Gatorade bought him a house or something.
He was playing a Fleetwood Mac song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that guy.
Yeah.
I don't think not sure he intentionally was trying to become famous, but it sort of worked out for him.
Sure did, but that doesn't happen to most of us.
Well, so maybe I'm not going to be Instagram famous or YouTube famous or famous at all, but there are ways that you can go about creating some revenue from online content. So talk to us a little bit about if that's a part of my revenue stream, what are the steps that I should be thinking about if I wanted to do that? And sounds like you've been succeeding in doing some of that. So tell us your experience.
I've got a long way to go, but I am making money because of my online content. It's as you know, Jeff, my metrics of success are a little different than most people's. I start out with, as long as it's buying me beer and cigars, I'm happy. But then it's got to go a little beyond that. Hey, here's how you start, Jeff. You got to know what it is that you really, really love to share. What is it you have to offer? What's your magic? What makes you a pink unicorn? What makes you a little bit different, a little bit better than anybody else with what you have to share? And for me, I originally struck out with LinkedIn. That's where I went. I got 150% into teaching LinkedIn as a business tool. And I just started creating content on how to use LinkedIn as a business tool. And little did I started in 2012 on YouTube. And I was just putting videos out there to say, hey, go watch my video. Hey, go watch my video. And all of a sudden I started noticing the trend lines, the number of people watching my content, the number of hours of my content watching, the number of people subscribing to my content. I'm like, wait a minute. This has got potential. And so there's a button you got to click at a certain point on YouTube where you say, I want to monetize my content. And there's three ways to monetize content on LinkedIn. On YouTube. 3 ways to monetize content. Number one is revenue sharing. So, I get 900,000 watches of my people watching my content, 900,000 hours a year of people watching my stuff. So, a bunch of freaks that want to watch my stuff, And so every time someone watches my videos, YouTube puts an ad out there, or 2 or 3 or 4. And I get little teeny pieces of that ad revenue. And that adds up. Over time, you get, 1 million hours a year of your stuff watched. It's good beer and good cigars. That's number one. Number 2 is, if you get to a certain point on YouTube, when you can monetize and you can start selling content above your description box. So you can have, there's a lot of people, they sell shirts and t-shirts and hats and coffee cups and other stuff. They sell stuff on their YouTube videos. But here may be the most powerful way to make money from your content online. And that is for people to really like your content, think that you are, smart enough for them to call and go, I want your help. And that is that is the number one way I make money on YouTube. I got full ad revenue. I'm not selling any products yet, but besides the ad revenue, it's building that brand and people finding my YouTube video, finding my Quora content, which is also monetized, and going and making a phone call and calling me and saying, Teddy, I like your style. I need your help. So those are just some of the ways on YouTube.
So I mean, it sounds like the calling Teddy, that sounds more like that plays into your consulting business. I mean, you're basically using it to promote your consulting business, and as opposed to more of a, I guess I would call it a passive revenue, where you're sitting back and sipping your expensive beer, smoking your Cuban cigars on the beach, and just letting the revenue roll in.
Well, but so here's where I'm going, Jeff. And I've been using YouTube and Quora to get income, direct income, is lead income, okay? Referrals and prospects. However, I know I'm 63 years old, dude. And a year from July, I no longer am going to look for business, because I expect a year from July, my YouTube channels, 2 channels plural, and my Quora channel are going to be fully monetized, making enough money that I can, continue buying really, really good beer and really, really good cigars, and not have to be chasing business anymore. Not going to retire, but I'm not chasing business. I'll be making enough money that I don't need to do anything else.
So,
can I call you?
Gary, it's a long journey. I started in 2012 and I got serious in 2016, and it works, but it's a full-time job. I've got to create videos every day.
So I mean, let's talk about that.
That's exactly what it doesn't happen overnight, just like you said, and it is a lot of work, because somebody said, oh, well, he's doing this and he's going to be able to retire and he's going to have but there's a lot of effort and investment to get to where you're going to be in a year or so.
So it's not like just one cool TikTok video of me drinking Gatorade. I think it was actually cranberry juice or apple juice or something like that. We're not, Gatorade's not a sponsor here, Teddy. So let's not give them any extra credit than they deserve. It's not hitting.
It's cranberry juice.
Yeah, it's cranberry juice. All right.
From Chick-fil-A.
It's a lot better.
There we go.
No,
Chick-fil-A.
No, they're not a sponsor either. Oh. We'll get to that, but talk to our listeners about if they are serious about getting to a point where they might generate some revenue from their online content. Do I need to do a video each week or each day or every hour, or how should people think about this?
Well, it depends on how fast you want to build your channel. I'm at my LinkedIn channel. I produce a video maybe 2 times a week, but I'm also doing Google Workplace and Gmail's business tools. So I'm creating about 7 or 8 videos on that channel every week, because I need to build it up to get to a point where there's not a lot of content that creates a lot of reach. But it really, it's a matter of how fast you want to get there. How quickly do I want to get discovered? And remember, you know that YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world.
I've heard rumors to that effect, but I'm glad that you can confirm this.
The more you feed it with content relevant to who you are and what you do and relevant to what you want to be known for, the more you get discovered. And the more people click subscribe and the more people who click watch, et cetera, et cetera. If you have 500 videos out there, that creates an opportunity for a certain number of people to find your content and want to subscribe and watch. But if you have 1,000 videos out there, that creates even more opportunities for more people to find you. And you can't just create a video about the same thing over and over again. YouTube will shut you down for that. You have to create videos that do this, Jeff, that answer people's questions. Okay. And I'll never forget this. In the early days, I thought, man, I got to create these phenomenal videos that answer these huge questions. Wrong. I've discovered that answering the simplest questions gets me far more views / revenue than the big questions. It just blows me away. The simplest questions are what people are YouTubing, searching for on YouTube.
So you're really not focused on the meaning of life at this point in time. You're focused more on how do I use LinkedIn to do X, Y, Z, or what's an example of a video that people might use?
How do I add a new position to my LinkedIn account? How do I add a new email address? And here's the number one question that I get asked every week. People freak out about this. So they're asking this question all the time. Oh my golly, Teddy, I looked at someone's LinkedIn profile and then I'm like, oh, I don't want them to know I looked at it. So I deleted my account. Will they still know it was me? And I am not joking. That is the number one question that I answer all the time on Quora and YouTube.
Oh, and what's the answer?
Yes, I was going to say, now you got us wondering.
Are people just using LinkedIn to search for like old flames from their past or what?
Do you want me to coach you on that? Now, yes, they are. And no, they're not. But here's what the real answer to that question is. It's a cultural thing, Jeff. I've discovered that this is mostly a cultural thing. It's not so much US as it is Asian and Saudi Arabia and the UK. It's a Japanese. It's a cultural thing that they're afraid I shouldn't have done that.
Huh, that's interesting.
So I'm very respectful when I answer that question, except for you.
Fair enough. Yes, and we apologize to any of the Asian listeners or culturally sensitive listeners that might have been insulted by any of this conversation so far. So, since we have that,
I see a disclaimer going across the.
Yes. So, you've been primarily talking about creating video. Is that something that is the approach you use across all these platforms? You've mentioned several, but obviously YouTube is pretty much all video. But you're also big into LinkedIn. You publishing videos there, or just responding to questions, or how do you do that?
So I start with this. I need to hear a question. And so where do I go find questions? Yes, my clients ask me questions all the time. People message me and ask me questions, but I need lots of questions for me to choose which to answer. So I went on Reddit and predominantly Quora, Quora.com. And I started tracking questions about LinkedIn and now about Google Workplace and Gmail, and answering their questions. And how do I answer their questions? I answer their questions on Quora and to some extent Reddit by using text. But then I say this.
This podcast is sponsored by Jackson Creative, a custom communication agency located in downtown Hickory, North Carolina, specializing in online content creation. To learn more, visit thejacksoncreative.com. Jackson Creative, we tell your story.
I show you how to do it in this video. So then I go create a YouTube video, drop that in my Quora answer. And so I'm at 6,100 answers since 2016 on Quora. I got 12 million views of my Quora content since 2016. And end of last year, Quora allowed me to join their revenue sharing program. And so now I'm making nickels, dimes, and pennies from my Quora content. And every month, that amount of revenue is going up. So I find the question, I answer it, often with a video, put the video on YouTube, maybe share it on LinkedIn, maybe share it on Twitter, but I definitely share it through Quora or Reddit to get more eyeballs on it.
And these videos that you're creating that answer questions, are they 3-minute videos? Are they 10-minute videos? Or, what's your thought process there to secure eyeballs and maybe not lose people's attention?
So you make more money on YouTube with an 8+ minute video, because with an 8+ minute video, they can do what's called mid-roll ads. So that, you're watching those cat videos, Jeff, that you love so much. And that 15 minutes of that kitten playing, it stops and does an ad, doesn't it?
It's very frustrating, but yes, I know what you mean.
But that's okay. I'm sorry you're frustrated. I'm appreciative of the revenue. So, but I also know that my audience wants an answer like that. Mm-hmm. They want their answer. So I typically stay to 3 to 5 minutes for most of my videos. But every now and then I create a collage or a compilation of answers. And every now and then my answer might take 10 minutes. But I tell them up front, this is a really in-depth answer to the question, but you'll get value out of watching the whole video.
Okay.
So give them what they want in the amount of time frame they want to consume it.
Gary, are you familiar with Quora?
I am not.
Okay. Well,
I think I might have gone to high school with her, but I don't know.
And when I think when we spoke a few weeks ago, I was not that familiar with Quora. So tell folks a little bit about Quora and how you're using that.
So Quora sort of lines similar to Reddit. These are sites where people go and ask questions or start conversations, and people jump in with the answers or their perspectives or their opinions. Question and answer site is what it really is. Quora, Quora.com, really built a model that they are the go-to place for an answer to any question you have. And I am not overstating that. Any question you have. And I got on there and I started following LinkedIn and networking. And I'm like, man, there's a lot of people showing up asking questions about LinkedIn and LinkedIn Sales Navigator and all the different aspects of social networking. And I just started answering questions for the heck of it. And then I started realizing that people were following me. And that kind of freaked me out at first. Then I'd answer more questions to get more followers. And then I did some more research and I found out I can answer questions with videos. Well, I want to build my video network. So I started, there's a way you can say, I only want to get questions about these topics. I started getting questions and I get 100 a week, but I don't answer 100 a week. I can't. And so, but the other cool thing about Quora is that it is highly indexed by YouTube. So you go do a search on YouTube. Let me say it again, highly indexed by Google. So you go do in Google and you say, how do I add a new position on my LinkedIn profile? Search. Up comes a Quora answer. Up comes my Quora answer. And so I was like, man, if it's that highly indexed by Google, then I need to be there so people find my answers and get to my videos to make me pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. So it's cool. It's a lot of work, but as long as you're focused, Jeff, this is the thing. You asked earlier, how do you get started making money? You better know what you really love to talk about, because you're going to be talking about it a lot.
Well, you also better be somewhat of an expert in it as well. And that, I might want to talk about something, but if I don't know what I'm talking about, I suspect people will figure that one out pretty quickly as well.
Obviously, you got to be giving good answers and giving value.
Yeah. I'll tell you, there are a lot of people who share a lot of opinions on those sites. I decided not to share so much opinion and demonstrate the fact of the answer. And that's why I do the video, so I can demonstrate it.
So this feels a lot to me like brand building, in terms of you're building out your brand. Is this, if someone comes to you or one of us and says, hey, I want to build my brand, is this a piece of that puzzle, or how do you look at that?
Well, it is a piece of the process. Originally, I started doing YouTube and Quora and Reddit and even to some extent Facebook and Twitter and my blog, all as brand building. So and I have a blog out there that probably has 200 answers to questions on my blog. They're pretty stale because I've been putting them out on YouTube and Quora lately. But yeah, it starts with brand building. When you get discovered on the internet as whatever they want to call you, an authority, a guru, an expert, a sensei or whatever, then that can start. Again, I told you early on, I started doing this to make the phone ring for people to call me. And it works. I'm not quite making $16 million a year in my mind, but it does make my business grow. And then that's when I decided, okay, how do I pivot this and make it something even better and longer lasting? Because I don't want to sit behind a desk and do coaching and consulting and do big sales training programs till I die. I want to be sitting out at at the dock of the bay with my little laptop or my cell phone and answering videos on my cell phone, with ships going by me, putting out more YouTube videos just like that, simply and easily, and not working so hard.
Well, it sounds like you're getting closer to that.
I am, dude. I am.
Okay.
It's fun. Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, don't forget us little people when you own the dock and the boat and.
I don't need to own a boat. I don't need to own a boat. I just need to have friends with boats, and I have friends with boats.
I agree with you 100% on that. So, well, look, you shared some really good stuff with us. We really appreciate it. Any other final thoughts you'd like to throw out there for folks that are ready to they think they're going to be the next sensation? It sounds to me like it's there's going to be a lot more work to it than that.
You can still, there are so many opportunities for you to become an internet sensation, so many different opportunities, but you can't be everything to everybody. You can't be on every platform. I've considered TikTok, I've considered Instagram, and I only have so many hours in the day. But what I've said 2 times, which I'll repeat right now, Jeff, when you discover what the conversation is that you love and you can get really good at it, that's where you go.
All right. That's great. Well, we really appreciate you sharing what you're doing with our listeners and giving some folks some ideas about how they can get started with that. If you're game, we're gonna play. You get to play our lightning round. You up for that?
I'm game, as long as you don't embarrass me, dude. No red Solo cups.
Well, this week or this month, our lightning round is sponsored by Ned Ryerson Insurance. Whole life, auto, flood. You can't have enough insurance. Am I right? You can stay safe with Ned Ryerson. You should check Ned Ryerson out on the internet. We're going to throw out some quick questions and ask you for some quick answers. So, first question, what is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, Lordy. Maybe my biggest pet peeve in the context of LinkedIn, I'm going to put it in context of LinkedIn. I'm about ready to write an article about this. It's when someone sends me a LinkedIn invite and says, I want to connect. And they write this big, long statement about why they want to connect. And I message them back and go, cool, tell me a little bit more what you want. And they ghost you.
So you don't you don't want to be ghosted on LinkedIn. You probably don't want to be ghosted anywhere.
Not by me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite vacation spot?
I already told you, dude. The dock.
Just the generic dock?
Any dock.
And does it make any difference?
I don't know. Key West dock might be different from our Lake Hickory dock. I don't know. Huh?
Give me a dock on a lake,
All
Smith Mountain Lake, or in Key West.
Beatles or Rolling Stones?
Rolling Stones. Loud. Really loud.
Okay. What's your adult beverage recommendation?
Do you not know that?
Well, I don't know what brand it might be.
Okay. I don't have a brand. I'm a craft beer guy. I'm a 100% IPA.
Okay. All right. I'm not an IPA guy.
I know that.
All right. I bet you do. All right. Any TV or movie recommendations for our listeners? Anything you've seen lately that you would recommend?
I just finished watching the whole Resident Evil series.
Resident Evil.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It wasn't as dramatic as the newer, presentations, but go watch the Resident Evil series. It's interesting.
All right. Do you have a favorite ice cream flavor? Really,
chocolate chip cookie dough, and we're out.
That sounds like a problem. You better get the team working on that one there. Last question.
All right, buddy.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
My superpower. Oh, Lordy, what would my superpower be? I want to be able to travel lightning fast between here and there, so I don't have to spend hours on airplanes or trains or automobiles.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a good one.
Very good one.
Yeah. Who knows? You could find docks all over the world like that. All right. Well, thank you for playing our lightning round. Thank you for being on the podcast today, Teddy. If people want to find Teddy Burriss, where should they be looking, or how should they find you?
Just Google Teddy, last name Burriss. Where you find me, direct message me, but send me an invite or whatever you want. But you've got to do this. You've got to tell me that you found me on Jeff and Gary's podcast.
Otherwise known as the Entrepreneur Exchange. That would be acceptable as well. So that's fine. So I know you mentioned ghosting as your pet peeve, but I know that sitting in some of your classes, I know that one of the recommendations you make to people is when they want to connect via LinkedIn, don't just send some generic "I want to connect" message. You are unlikely to accept that invitation. You're saying, "I'd like to connect. I heard you on the Entrepreneur Exchange, or there's some relevance. Here's why I want to connect. Provide some reason, and then when you come back to them, they better communicate again."
Absolutely, yeah. So good stuff, buddy.
Teddy, it is always a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks, Teddy.
We appreciate it.
Good seeing you guys. We'll talk another day.
Absolutely.
All right. We always like to end our program with a couple of small businesses that you should be checking out. Gary, what small business are you going to highlight this month?
Well, Jeff, my business of the month is L&L Catering, which fits my MO because it's either food, animals, or children for my businesses in most cases. And of course, this is in the food category. And I just had the opportunity to taste their food and look at their presentation yesterday when we hosted an event with one of our Furniture Academy partners. The food was great. Presentation was great. What I didn't know is that they've actually been in business in the Hickory area for 29 years. Did you know them?
I did not know that.
Yeah, and they brought the gift of exceptional food, personal service, and gracious style to events throughout the Hickory area for that long period of time. So obviously they've been very successful. And I was impressed with their food and the way they handled it for this very important event. And by the way, they do weddings, corporate events, holiday parties, you name it. Probably Carolina National Championship game parties will probably be there. Probably won't be too much of that for the Wake Forest national parties, but that's okay. But they also have 20 years catering the finest meals and events in Hickory. They are now ventured in new territory. Well, it's not totally new. It's still food. It's healthy food.
Oh, I thought you said they're going to get the states full, but go ahead.
No, they're big everywhere.
Okay.
Within 20 or 30 miles. Living Lean Food, the exciting addition to L Catering called Living Lean Meals. And they're providing healthy meals, which means that I'll probably be using or eating what they gave us yesterday, which was nice sweets and stuff like that. I'm not the healthiest eater in the world, as you know. But Lori Holland and her staff are preparing menus every week and changing the menu so you can change it up. You're probably a healthy eater, at least compared to me. But I was excited about it. A new business.
All right. L&L Catering. So I'm going to give a shout out to a new business that's called Cropt, spelled Kropt. And you can find them at www.wear, Cropt, Kropt.com. And actually was someone that I got to meet through our small business center, a young lady named Kirsten Shively, who she's a personal stylist. She sort of saw a problem with wearing bulky sweaters that she felt were not particularly stylish. So she came up with a new product, sort of a seamless band that primarily ladies. I'm sure that you or I or Teddy might benefit from this as well. But it's primarily for the ladies. Can be used to sort of tuck in and give a cleaner, neater, slimmer appearance when wearing sweaters and other apparel.
Can I get the phone number?
You can buy it online at wearcrop.com. And Kirsten visited our small business center and wanted to find a way to manufacture her product in the United States. We help connect her to the Manufacturing Solution Center, which is nearby but available to anybody in the United States, Manufacturing Solution Center, and work to help Kirsten find some suppliers. And just this month, she went live with her website where she's selling her cropped product. So you can check it out at www.wearcropped.com. It's sort of cool, good story. Made in the USA. Yeah. And we wish Kirsten and her business great success. So as Joe Bob would say, you should check it out. So
sounds great.
If you've got a suggestion out there for our Entrepreneur Exchange Small Business of the Month, email them to us at exchange@themesh.tv. If we choose yours to highlight on the show, you'll get one of our prize packs, which has invaluable gifts and depends what's sitting in our offices. But we're going to get rid of the stuff, and you'll love it. So send us your ideas. I want to thank our friend Teddy Burriss for joining us today. We want to thank the Mesh Podcast Network for hosting us. We hope everyone is having a good spring. Enjoy your spring. Hope the allergies aren't too bad, and get out there, enjoy some sunshine, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next month.
Take care. Be safe.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.